Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to, wait for it guys and girls, the Kingdom. So I had a comment on my last video saying that I could still call it the Kingdom, and it didn't quite twig in my head what they meant, and I assume this is what they meant anyway. I haven't called the series the Kingdom anymore, but I can still call my world the Kingdom, and I think I shall. So welcome back to the Kingdom guys. So, last video, we had an incredible response to my first episode. Now, we didn't get much done, but we got a couple of key things done for the world so we can progress quickly now. And I had some fantastic ratings from you guys, so if that even keeps up anywhere close to that, I will definitely be doing lots and lots more vanilla, because it really motivates me to get on and do it. I didn't think that many people want to watch it. So today we're going to do some world planning. Now this is something that I don't think you'll see many people doing on camera at least, and what I want to do is plan out the bare bones at least of my spawn chunks, where they are, what we're going to be doing with them, and then certain things inside them that we want to plan out. We're also going to plan out how we're going to set up that witch spawner, and then we'll look at some of the progress I've made in the nether. So I'll be right back once I've got some stuff ready. So the plan first of all today is to map out the spawn chunks of the world. Now these are 12 by 12 chunks from the floor to max build height, and conveniently you can map them out. A little bit of a trick to it, but I worked out how to before without needing any mods or anything. So I did go and kill myself a few times, and I did enchant a book with my levels, don't worry about that, down that convenient hole. And I spawned here, over there and over there. Now in this spawn chunks, as it's 12 by 12 chunks, it's not an odd amount of chunks, so you don't spawn in exactly one place or exactly one chunk. You will spawn in a range of 4 chunks in the center. So I believe one of them is probably here, one's going to be here, one's going to be here, one's going to be here. So that's the center of it. Now as a good guess of how far they go, all we have to do is count 6 chunks from wherever you think the middle is. So I think the middle is probably around here. I'd guessed around here. So I've gone and just basically mapped out how far 6 chunks away from that would be. Just as a brief thing, that's not how we're going to work out where we are. So 6 chunks to that pillar over there, that little netherrack pillar. And we need to check this, and we're going to do this with item despawn. So I'm going to put items on the floor, on the spawn chunk side I think, and then on the part away from spawn chunks. Now because spawn chunks are always loaded, items inside them will despawn over time, whereas the ones in unloaded chunks won't. So if I leave this area and go somewhere like the end, well, the end location, not the end itself, then the items here will despawn, and when I come back there'll be a nice little line where the items will stop despawning and you'll enter the unloaded chunks. And that's where you can pick out the boundary of the chunk, and then I can map it out on every single side and then join them all up because it's a nice little square, and then I'll know where the spawn chunks are in the world. Now it's easier said than done because it can be quite a lot of time consuming effort to do this, so all I'm going to do is throw some of these items on the floor behind me, and then I'm going to go into the nether and go to the end area, and I'll show you that progress actually on the way. So I'm just keep putting these blocks down. And then on this side, these ones when we come back should still be here. I'll do a bit more just in case, be safe. And we'll see the difference hopefully. So, if we go to where the mine is, this strip mine is just being started. I'm just lighting up a few bits and just putting a tiny bit of storage in there. Nothing really done, but this is where the strip mine will be. I want to make it look really nice, have a nice entrance, have a nice way of organising the shafts, not just do it randomly. Now if I go through here, we'll go to nether. Now I've done quite a bit of work in the nether and done some planning already off camera. So let's go up here, hopefully don't get shot by a ghast. I've mapped out quite a few locations on the world already, where I want them to go. I haven't placed the portals yet, but I've mapped out where they would go. And today we're going to be trying joining up them to wherever we want. I've got a whole list of different things I want to do in this world, and really for 1.5, how I want to play it on here is going to be using things like minecart systems to move items into the spawn chunks. which is going to need it all to be nicely done logistically, so I can get it all to work perfectly. So planning it out first of all, especially in 1.5, is paramount, especially with needing to set up hopper systems and all that, and you don't really want to keep moving that. This portal here, they're all just in stone at the moment. This would be the one going to spawn. We might move it depending on where we actually want to have it in the end. This one over here is going to the village where we had it in the desert. And then I've been playing with some of these outside bits, so trying to think of a way to make this all spawn proof and look nice. Now I can do this with putting things like flowers on the floor or something, just to block spawning. Now I have done a little video on that, which you may have seen by now. If not, it will be in the link description. And I really want half slabs because I want to put ice underneath it. I need to do some testing though with having beacons with speed on them, and then having ice underneath these as well. I'll probably do that in a separate video as well. I'll do a nice transport overview. I'm just playing with colour schemes and ways of doing things. Now I really like the quartz. I also really like nether brick, but I don't want to keep this dark, so if you have any suggestions on how to organise this look-wise, I'd love it. There's only a certain amount of half slabs you can put on the floor, which is quite disappointing, but I was playing with a couple of things anyway. And I like this bit here for a corner. So this bit here maps up to where those mines are that we came through on. And then over here, all the way at the end, if I just chug this potion, is where we go to the end. So I'm just trying to map it out so far, because I will want to put a minecart system in here as well, for automatic minecarts and also maybe travel minecarts, because over here it's quite a long distance. I don't want to keep running here all the time because I'm lazy. This would go to a skelly spawner, I believe. I think I remember that correctly. And these two go to the silverfish. So I'm going to go down, and I've got a map on the floor, which I can walk down and then get to that bit down below basically. I don't want to mess up all the drilling here. And then we'll go to the end portal and we'll have a look at what work I've been doing. We are pretty close. I'll look at what work I've been doing in the end area. So, be right back. So this is what I've done at the end portal so far. Just clearing out some space and debating myself if I want to have 2 portals here or 1. As you saw, there's 2 in the nether. I'm thinking maybe have 1 for the portal itself and then 1 for the silverfish farm on the other side. Could be quite cool to have them mapped up exactly so that you only go through one or the other and you would have a specific location for each. I don't really want to be looking at the silverfish farm if I'm going in the end portal, and at the moment I've just blocked up the spawner a bit and they're just collecting in some netherrack as they can't break out of that, which is okay, and they're actually quite a good little experience grinder, just poking a few and sort of break some of my stone around which have got silverfish in it still. So we had lots of fun just coming back into this world and just mining out for a few hours and then coming back and doing it again. It's actually really enjoyable and I forget how much I've missed vanilla. So that's really nice. And I did say I'll be adding in bits to my texture pack as I went with the series, so first thing I want to do for this series is change this one to the one I like. So I'll be right back. And there we are. It's nice and pretty now. This is from the photorealism, and also the bottom bit is actually the texture of endstone, so that's changed from the icky yellow to a very nice colour now. Very good. And we'll just go through there and then return back to the overworld from the bed and we'll see where the items are. GG. Okay, after silently raging for a bit, I decided to keep the footage in, and I've come down this side instead because I was having a bit of trouble with the other one. So this is where you can see these ones are still there. I actually came and did this all the way across, then I came back to check it with this. So on here we're on the side of the chunk, and then on here we're on a new chunk. So this one here is a spawn chunk, this one here isn't. So these ones are still loaded, well they're now loaded but they weren't loaded before, whereas the ones in here were, so they've despawned. So that is the principle. Now what I can do is, now I know that's there, I'm going to just actually do this probably a bit easier if I make a little sky thing, just so that this is basically working out the whole perimeter I need to play with to get spawn working correctly, and then I need a bigger perimeter around that for the player loading. So I'd work out where I'm going to be in a middle base, and then work out where the exact center point of that is, so I need to do less clearing out of everything. So this is just going to make a gigantic square in the air, really going to be ugly for a few episodes at least, just so I can keep the reference point in mind. So we know this bit here is the edge, so everything inside is spawn, that way. And I'm going to do the same for each corner now, or each side, and then go along each way like this. I don't show you, it's going to take a very long time for me to do it, especially in survival. And then it's going to go all the way out, and then I'll get one gigantic square, and then I can work out where the exact centre of it is, and I can work out some sort of geometric way of working out when we start putting things. And then we're going to talk about what I'm going to do with the slime farm. I've had lots of questions about that already. And then sort of plan out where things are going to go. So, should be exciting. I'll see you when I'm done this in quite a while. Okay, that did take quite a while, and we have now got a perfect perimeter of the spawn chunks. So everything inside this netherrack, I don't know what you call it, netherrack perimeter, is inside spawn chunks. So we can see that this pillar here is the dead center. And if I'd skip to my spawn chunk test world. Okay, so this was the world that I was testing in when I began looking at spawn chunks quite a while ago, and this is one that the video is based on. You see that in here, this pink square is the dead center. Now, something else that I thought of when I was doing it in survival, which always helps when you're doing things in survival, not just creative, was that when I found one edge, I know now, because I've done this already, that the whole diameter of the square is 12 chunks, as in 12 chunks. So the middle is 6. So if you find the edge, you can then count 12 chunks straight away, and then draw your other edge straight away. So you need to worry about doing 4 sets of despawns. You only do 2, and then you can find out the rest after that. So each of them, where these little lines are, these are all within. So this perimeter here is inside the spawn chunks. So all we need to do now is look at what we want to do in our world. So I'll just hop back on there. Okay, it's actually the next day now, and I decided to re-record this bit because we're now on 13W16A, the 1.6 snapshot on the new launcher, and you try and... oh. Yep, at the moment pressure plates don't actually work. Yeah, I think they've been given the same sort of coding as the carpet, so yeah, they just don't do anything. So let's go look at what I've done so far. Let's jump up this thing here. I've mapped out all the chunks for spawn, like you saw in the video a minute ago for you anyway, and that 4 little blocks of pink wall in the middle represent this big pillar here. And this is probably best seen at night because you can see the full extent of the spawn chunk, so let me just get up there. And I mapped out also the spawning platforms of the witch farm. It's raining, isn't it? Okay, I'll keep this very, very brief. So we are in the dead center of spawn, which is there. That netherrack is each layer, so there's 2 layers there for spawning. Over there, the little tiny light in the water, that is a zombie spawner down there. So that can have a peaceful switch for the world. If you don't know what that is, we'll get to that sometime. This bit here, the whole netherrack perimeter is the perimeter of spawn. Darn the rain. So we're going to try and plan out now what we're going to be doing around here. So I'm going to make a perimeter for that witch hut. So the distance you need to be away from it so hostile mobs can spawn inside of it. And I'll be right back, as well as getting rid of the rain. Rain's gone, much better. So I made a distance sort of indicator around those platforms. 24 blocks in each direction from the sides, 24 up, and I would do 24 down as well, but I don't really plan on building that at the moment. So it's going to be a nice sphere that I can't go inside, otherwise those spawns will not happen. So build anything, it has to be outside of that if I'm going to be in it. Although I could use some of that space for some sort of hopper system or any sort of storage place that I'm not going to be going inside. Could be a good thing to think of. Also in this place though, as I split this up into 4 quadrants, no, this line in the middle is separating each side. So we are corner, 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 corner. I need to fit some other things in here as well, so I need a iron farm. Now I'm thinking of trying to do it underground. I'm thinking of doing Tango Tech's iron farm because it looks rather good, but I haven't had too much time to sit down and work out exactly how I'm going to implement it myself, and therefore I don't know where the best place for it would be. But I do want to do it underground and then to have some skylights for the villagers and be able to build other stuff around. I also want to have the slime farm and also a hostile mob farm. Now the slime farm is only going to be a tiny little thing and I'm going to turn it off quite regularly, but it's got to be inside the swamp area, so that's going to be one little thing for that. And then I need a hostile mob farm, and I don't really know where I want to have that either, so just things trying to keep in mind for the moment. And I have got a little list of things I want to do as well, so things like tree farm, sheep farm, animal farms and all that, and it's just me trying to think of where to put them. But really the only thing logistically is the swamp has to have the slimes in it, and also the witch spawner has to be there. If I built something on this bit, then I wouldn't be interfering with that spawner at all, and it would be quite good. So I'm going to actually try and look for a horse now, because I wasn't planning to, but I think I will just go and try and look for one and have one back here. Could have been quite useful when I was planning out the actual spawn chunk itself, but I didn't have it then. And then we will go set up the portals properly, and we'll look at some other things I want. So I want the tiger biome for an ice farm, which may actually just be in loading distance of the player. So if I have an automatic ice farm there, I may actually be able to make it store up ice just by being over here, which would be absolutely awesome. And I'm going to map out a few other things as well. So if we just hop into the nether, actually I'll go grab the obsidian, I'll go do a lot of mining, and then I'll be back when I'm ready to place them. Unfortunately I couldn't find a horse though, which I'm really annoyed about. When I was doing my testing on the snapshot, I generated a new world, and in that world there was horses that had spawned in the plains biome, but afterwards they did despawn, so I don't know if it's the problem with that at the moment. Maybe we'll get them in the world soon. I didn't really generate much more land, so we'll just have a little look at that when the next snapshot comes out. And I went and lit up some of these portals, so this one goes back to base, and we'll just go through them quite quickly. Now today I do understand there's not much happening at all, but we are planning things out, and now that I don't want to leave you guys in the dark what I'm doing, now I want to tell you my plan so that then I can just pick a location and give an update on what's happening there. Could be quite nice to do. This one is the village in the desert, and there's actually another village just in beyond the plains. Here we are. So that is the village side, is it? Or is that the village side? There's the village. Very good. So I can come back there and move my villages if I need to. Especially when I move them underground for the iron golem farm. So that's fine. Then everything else is also mapped up as well. Apart from what would be the skelly. So like these ones as well. These ones should go to the mine shafts. Well, what will become the mine shafts. Haven't tested it yet. Ooh, here I am. Yeah, that works fine. Very good. Now go back. Now, people do ask how to map up portals and how to link them together. And it's very simple. All you do is you find your X and your Z coordinate in the overworld, divide it by 8, place the portal in the same place in the nether, and it will link up. Very easy. It only gets a bit more difficult when you have portals which are within, say, 10 spaces of each other on the overworld. You really have to be very exact where the middle of the actual portal is. So sometimes you have to play around a little bit to make them work. But down here I won't light up the skelly one because it's not got a portal on the other side. That's the other bit. If you make a portal to map them up over here, make a portal in the overworld first and light it. Don't go through it. Well, you can go through it, but don't worry about that. Then when you come through here, make a new portal and then light that one. They only link up when they're both made and lit up. They won't generate a new one somewhere else if you've got another portal near. That one should be the skelly. Also over here, I want to be having a place to get lots of silk, so string for my traps. And I need to finish off a design for an Enderman Farm so I can do it. But whatever I do, I need some string. And as there is the abandoned mineshaft down here, There are a number of spider spawners, but I really want to find maybe 2 or 3 or something together. So I'm going to do a nice AFK trap there. But that's why I really need to start doing the mob farms. But we might have to leave that until I have my iron farm first, as I'm going to need a lot of hoppers for it. So this all links up very well, and I'm very pleased with that so far. And I did actually reinforce the nether, not the nether, the end. So there is a little safety platform there now. So I won't get knocked off again in the future. And even if there is some silverfish there, I will be protected. So don't have to worry about that. But yes, that is the progress at the moment. I'm going to do some more planning. I'm going to get back to you again in a little while. Okay then. Planning is sort of done. And I've got a whole list of different farms, different areas, different things I want to achieve at the moment as kind of a basic thing. The ones over here are kind of more important than the ones over here. I'm not going to focus on any ones in particular, apart from the iron farm, the witch farm and the Enderman farm, and also the gold farm are the most important for the beginning at least. And I did promise the iron farm, Enderman farm and gold farm for episode 10, and I'm definitely going to be on track for that. So how I've mapped it out is that I'm going to have my tree farms over there, I have all my produce over there in the water, just above the water away from the slime, because I don't use the land for anything else below it. And farms are great to look good overground. And then this thing here is a little slime farm, I'll get to that in a second. Over there though, in that corner, that little quarter, will be the hostile mob spawner. And then over in that corner, where that pillar is, will be the iron farm. Now hopefully the iron farm will be miles away from everything else, which it will be. So that's a good place to have it. And I probably will flatten out all this land down to sea level, which would be quite nice and easy to plan things out on. But I've got to look at what I've called my little tiny slime farm. Now I'm not even sure if slimes would even spawn in this, but it's working. I'm genuinely shocked. Wow. Now slimes, they'll spawn between levels 51 and 69 in the swamp biome if they're like level 7 or less. Now all I did was made a 1x1 hole in there, a little tiny tunnel, and the point of that was that if you did like a 2 high one, as in 2 blocks high, then normal mobs can spawn, as well as 2x2 slimes. Then the other problem was that if you did it just flat, then you could have 1x1 slimes spawn, but then you have spiders spawn as well. So my initial idea was to have a tube here, so that slimes can spawn, and then have it so that because slimes pick a direction, keep going, and normally when they hit a wall, then they'll change direction again, and eventually they should all get to one point. Should do anyway. And he just did it. Oh, this is excellent. Basically, this is the hollow tube. I'll just show you actually on the top. Just an easy little thing here. So all this is a hollow tube, and it's got a little fall down there, a half slab on top of a hopper, and a chest. So what I wanted to have is a sort of a passive one, and passive would be just occasional, not really that active, sort of a, yeah, just a passive one spawner. So I'll collect some slime. I don't really need much at all, but a little bit now and then wouldn't help, well, wouldn't hurt. So that comes down here, so there should, oh yes, that's very, very good. It's only been here for about 10 minutes. That's very impressive. And that's only from a very tiny amount of spawn spaces. So if I had a little network of these, say maybe 10 of these or something, maybe have them double-sided so that they can fall down 2 shafts, and then have it so that they will collect up in one place. All I need to do then is have a light in the roof, and then I can have a little sensor somewhere saying that if I want to have slime, turn the light off. If I don't want slime, turn the light on, and they won't spawn. And that's a perfectly controllable mob spawner. No need for blocking up the spawn space or anything else, just use water. I'm very pleased with that. I was actually going to leave you that over the episode and kind of get people to suggest if it would work or not. But no, proof of concept, that works. I'm very, very pleased. And no other mob type can spawn in there. Very, very good actually, very good. So yeah, that kind of steals my little question at the end of the episode today. So, I think that is all the planning I have at the moment. I will be doing a different type of episode between my vanilla episodes. So I'm trying to balance out vanilla and FTB, and at the moment FTB does take a lot of time, so does vanilla. And I want to get more vanilla content out, but I can't produce videos like this all the time. This is the 4th day recording, I believe so, 4th day. So they really are intensive on time and planning. So I really want to do a sort of 2 of these a week, but one would be doing a proper episode like this, and the other one would be more of a podcast type of thing. I would be doing some manual labour on the actual world, so maybe setting up a spawner or doing some caving or something, and keep it as a kind of a talky one, and only for people that want to watch it. Don't worry if you don't want to watch that kind of thing. So I'll talk about myself, talk about things like that, talk about other stuff than Minecraft if need be, and kind of get a little discussion going with those videos. Kind of a vlog kind of thing without the personal video. But yes, that was a plan of mine, and I will probably start that soon. So, that is all I have for you today. I'll be lying if there was any more, but we definitely got a lot done. Then we've got the whole spawn chunks mapped. We've got our farms mapped out. Now, very quickly, I can now just map up my portals to a spider spawner when I find it, get some string, build a wood farm, get some wood, and then make a load of pistons. Then we can make the iron farm, and then we can jump on to doing my Enderman farm, and then we can do the gold farm, and then we are set. So, that's the plan. So thank you for joining me, guys, and as a friendly reminder, if you do enjoy these videos, please do give it a like. It really helps me, and it's not just that it's not that just it helps me on growth as a channel. It really helps me know which series are most popular and which ones I should spend more of my time on, because I enjoy doing all of my series and I don't mind which ones I do, but I really want to do something that you guys want to watch as well, kind of channel my efforts in them, because I do not have much time myself. I'd rather make it worthwhile for you guys. So, thank you very much for joining me, guys, and I'll see you again soon.